How's it going, everyone? My name is the Trading Savage, and in this video we're going to be talking about how to run large language models locally on your computer with Hugging Face and Python, and sourcing our code from my public GitHub repository. Now, running code locally has a lot of benefits. For example, you can work with data that you don't want to upload to these big tech companies. And a lot of these large language models are very powerful despite running on your local computer. So what's a good use case? So this can automate boring tasks for data that you don't want to upload to the internet. So for example, for every cell in a column, you want to label that. Just make a bunch of inferences based on rows of data that you have. Well, these large language models that you run locally are able to analyze that for you, and it'll take a little bit longer than it does via a LLM API or running it in the ChatGPT or other LLM consoles like online. As you can see, running locally has a lot of benefits in terms of just being able to work with any data that you want for most of these models. So let's get into it. Now, as you can see, this is my public GitHub repository. This is the README. It just shows some of the steps you need to follow. So in main.py, this is the code that we're going to want to run. So there's a few different functions here. This main function, this is basically pulling everything else together in the code, and it takes in a data set and converts a column of values to a list. Then what it's going to do is it's going to analyze the each element in the list or every cell with the large language model, and those inferences are going to be added as a new column to our data frame. So next, I'm just going to create a new Python project. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a Conda environment. Python 3.10 is fine. I'll call it automate boring work. And let's create. So now we have our main.py, just placeholder. And in our terminal, as you can see, our environment, Conda environment, is called automate boring work. So let's just activate that Conda environment. Okay, and then now let's go into main, and let's just copy all of main.py. Go back over here to PyCharm and paste it in. Okay, now you can see there's some Python packages that we haven't installed yet. So we're just going to install these manually off the cuff. So let's go ahead and do that. So we're going to go back to our README, and we're going to copy this first line, pip install transformers torch. So this is the main package or infrastructure that you need for Hugging Face. Okay, and then pip install pandas. Let's just install pandas real quick. And then laguru will be the last one. Okay, and then now we're just going to run python main.py, and let's see what happens. Okay, so it's saying we need to be authenticated to access it. And I should mention, this model is Llama 3 8 billion parameter instruct model. So it's made by Meta. I think it's a fairly powerful model to get started. But Hugging Face has a lot of models. So yeah, let's create an account. Okay, so I just created an account. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down here to the license agreement. And so after making the Hugging Face account, you need to fill out this agreement for the given large language model, which I just did. And now the next step will be going to create a access token. So I'm going to my account now, and I'm going to go to access tokens and basically create a new token. And this just needs read permissions. Okay, so now I created my access token. You can copy that value, and now let's write Hugging Face dash, and then it'll be CLI login. And then just paste the token that you copied and add token as get credential. I'll just say no for now. Okay, and then running python main.py again. It looks like we might have a a package version issue, but I successfully was able to authenticate with Hugging Face, and I'm able to download the Llama large language model now. So I'm going to go back into main.py here where it says desired prompt. I'm just going to put in a prompt that says categorized by favorable, negative, neutral, or one-word response for each review in our Hugging Face Stanford NLP IMDb data. And now, as you can see, for every review, it's inferencing and it's creating a label, negative, positive, or neutral for each review. So as you can see now, the CSV or Excel file that's outputted has these three columns now: text, label, and inferences. And the inferences is what our Meta LLM came up with based on our prompt and based on each cell of our like data frame or each cell of our Excel file, for example. And as you can see, it really works. It's doing a great job. This can save you a lot of time, a lot of work, depending on what kind of project you're doing. Thank you so much for tuning in with me today. I hope I can make you more efficient by running these large language models on your local computer. There are a ton of really cool models on Hugging Face by different companies, and they serve a bunch of different purposes. For example, they even have like image classifier models, text classifiers, more than just text generation. So the possibilities are really endless, and you're going to have a lot of fun just exploring those. So if you wouldn't mind, drop me a like, subscribe to stay in the loop, and I'll see you in the next video.